constantly being exposed to the tropical climate,
Yes.
it absorbs a lot of heat, and then
Yes.
releases it during the night. So
Absolutely.
so that's pretty interesting. But the question is, how expensive? No, let me not say expensive. What do these blocks cost? Like one of these blocks, how much would one of them cost?
Presently. No, we can tell you exactly what it is because we have it out in the market. So a 4-inch concrete, a 4-inch ICF block, which is 4 feet wide by 16 inches high with a 4-inch concrete core, will cost $13.91 US. So when you convert that to Jamaican, it's $2,000 for it.
Wow, that sounds affordable to me. That sounds very affordable.
It is, and we are in the process of educating the public more about this because we figure that this is the way to go.
They build in Cayman, in Cayman Islands.
Cayman Islands, yes.
Extensively because Cayman doesn't have a rise that looks like a hill, and for many years they were way ahead of us by insisting that all their buildings be insulated because Cayman is an exceedingly hot place. Yeah. And so if you want to know a place in the Caribbean where this is used extensively, and this particular system, because we are going to talk about another system based on a question I've seen you ask, because we have 2 building systems. This is one of them. Yeah. And this particular one is used extensively in the Cayman Islands. It is used in the United States, Canada, all over the world, because the same way it bars heat, it also bars cold.
But
in Canada and America, it is regarded as a higher end product because they build a lot with they don't build with block and steel so much. They are using more
wood,
board and wood and and so on. So you find that you want to use if you want to construct with ICF, it is considered a sort of a more upper end product for some people here. So just to make that clear.
Yeah. But would in using the ICF, would you actually design? Well, would I have to do the design for the entire structure so that you have that drawing and then you make that in the factory and assemble it and then pull it down and send it? Or is it that you just buy the block itself?
You just buy the blocks.
Oh, okay.
It's very similar to like you're building with regular concrete blocks.
Oh, okay.
It's bigger. It's just that it is bigger. So a concrete block.
And they're able to install them much faster than our regular concrete block.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it from the perspective of how would I then, because if I was to use the blocks, right, and I have say a single story, would it be easier to have the entire structure being in the ICF and have all of them installed and then come and pour, or is it that I pour as in lifts, basically?
Yeah, you pour in lifts. Yeah, like every 4 block height, you pour.
Okay.
And then you go again and finish the pouring. So you pour it twice.
Nice, perfect. All right. So the next question would be, and I'm not necessarily going in any particular order. You made mention of another solution, right? What solution is that as it relates to low income housing?
So our first system was in fact a system we call an insulated concrete panel system. And that's the one we've made more homes and buildings out of, because that one was the first one we brought to Jamaica.
Yeah, and I have been specifying that material a lot for years now.
Right. So that is, there's a machine. If you want to, in addition to our website, if you go on the website of Schnell House, SCHNELL, Schnell is an Italian company, and they make the machines that produce these panels. And so our machines are all our machines come from Schnell in Italy. So you can always go to the Schnell website, and you are going to get a whole host of information, because they are a company that believes not just in the building of the machines, but in the promotion of ultimately the product to the users in the country where they sell the machines. And so they provide a lot of research. For example, the fire details, which can be very hard to come by, the fire testing and so on. They made sure to do those fire testing and get them passed both in the United States of America according to code and in Europe, so that wherever you are using their system, they already have those information out. So if you want any further information on what I'm about to give you, Schnell that's where our machine comes from, and we're doing the exact same thing because that's our machine. So the panels now are also produced in the factory. There are 3 inches of the same foam that we're talking about. And then they are encased in that foam is encased in galvanized mesh steel right around the panel. And the panels are 8 foot height, 8 and 12, Keith, 8 foot and 12.
You're muted, Keith.
8 foot 10 height by 4 feet wide, 10 feet high, 4 feet wide, and 12 feet high by 4 feet wide. So we got 3 different sizes. However, we're not limited as to what size panels we can make. Based on our operation, we can make any length panel.
Okay.
All right. And so one panel replaces about 36 blocks. So so what you would do, you have your typical foundation. The normal foundation is what you use. Whichever foundation you choose, you set out your house on the site. You put your bars. I think they go up to 4 feet, Keith.
1 meter high on top of the foundation for anchoring the panel.
So is that 4 feet? Is that 4 feet?
No, 3 feet 3 inches.
3 feet 3
1
inches.
meter.
Okay.
1 meter. Yes.
Right. So one meter. And then now, listen to how wonderful this is. So instead of having a man or two lay 36 blocks, a gentleman, not necessarily a very strong one, can lift up this 8 foot or 10 foot panel. Very, very light, and they insert it over your rebars, and you do that, and you right around your building. When that is straightened up and put in place, you shotcrete or you spray on 1.5 inch of concrete on both sides of the panel. So the panel comes pre-made from the factory with the galvanized mesh steel. And by the way, when you now do the calculations, the amount of steel that is in this building, because of that galvanized mesh, is actually more steel than in a regular building. So it's a very, very strong building. And you spray on or flash on, but we prefer spray. Spray goes much faster. 1.5 inch of concrete on both sides, and what you will get in addition to that, 3-inch foam, which is in the center, with 1.5 inch of concrete on both sides. You get a 6-inch wall, which is just like any regular wall. And the system is made such that you can do your roof, your floors using your roof. It is tied back to your panels and your walls, which makes it ideal in a situation for hurricanes. We're not having the roof lifting off. Plus, you are getting the maximum benefit of the heat reduction, because you know the heat is coming from both the roof as well as from the walls. So we recommend that you when people are using this panel system, that you use the entire system, which is to capture tie for safety, and also to get the best of the insulation. So that's if you imagine now putting up, if one man can just put in a panel which replaces 36 blocks, that building goes up in short order. And the
question is, are these walls load-bearing walls? Because
absolutely,
could I build on top of it? As in,
yes,
I don't have any more money to buy the foam, and I'm going to use a regular block wall above. Would that be okay?
Okay, let me interject there. Your regular block wall would be a much heavier structure.
Yeah.
Therefore, if it's the intention is to do that, you would have to do provisional work for that. Yes. So you'd have to put in maybe stiffeners to enable you to use the conventional system on top.
Okay.
But we can't imagine anybody who would start out with the benefit of
but trust me, they will have.
And then no, it's a relevant question.
Yeah.
But it's a very relevant question. But my answer is, once you have tasted, once you have experienced the comfort of the building made with EPS, I cannot imagine anyone not wanting to use EPS on top and wanting to revert to concrete. The difference is outside. It is felt. It is, and it's one of the things we want to talk about in our education of the public. We wanna get into talking to emotions and feelings, because we are very sure of the strength of the building. We are very sure of the impact resistance of hurricanes and earthquakes. In fact, the building is a much better building for earthquakes. The material has flexibility in it, and then it is also a lighter building, and so that makes it better. Plus, it is not a foam doesn't blaze up. So it has a fire retardant in it, and in any event, if fire were ever to even reach the inner core, it would melt.
4 hours of fire rating.
Right. So our thinking on this is, once you experience the difference in the climate, the difference in that building, they say about once you go, once you go into that house, you cannot go back. Let me show you my office. Right, this is my office. That glass over there, the whole of this area is glass. And when we came, the sun is always on this side of the building. It was so hot you wanted to vomit. And we got the foam. This green thing you're looking at here is foam, and what we did was to you apply the foam to the glass. So I decided to lose whatever view, and by the way, there was no good view. It's an ugly building next door, so I never did really want to see it anyway. So but what we decided to do was to just apply the foam against the wall. And let me tell you something, this is chill, and it has blocked out all of the heat. I'm constantly having to adjust my AC because of how cool it is in here. And if you feel the metal, it's as hot as fire, because the sun is on the building, but I feel no heat because the foam bars that heat from entering the building. I think it is an extraordinary product that people just need to get to know, to get to understand. It is the building for the moment.
Yeah. What I would like to know though, and I know that they're going to ask this one, and we have like 7 minutes left on the call, but bullets, will it stop the
Yes.
Why, I don't even know how to ask.
Yes,
without
it's better. No, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. It is better for bullets because people tell you it ties up the bullets. Yeah, it ties it up and slows it down. Yes.
Wow.
So it is actually something studied, and so it's a relevant question. It is a better building. The bullet does not go through anywhere as quickly as with a block, and it is felt that it based on the type of material, it actually slows down the speed at which that bullet is going. It twists it up. So it's actually a bullet. We wouldn't call it bulletproof kit, but we would say it is bullet.
It depends on the caliber of firearm that is used.
Yeah.
What it does, it's actually, it's like when you fire a shot into sand, where the bullet is spinning, so it has to go through the concrete, slows down. When it goes in the foam will tie it up, like slow it up. Because the foam is dense, and then it has to enter or exit another core of concrete. So there's a website that some testing was done, and you will see where they fire maybe 5 different type of firearm, and you will see the effect. The company is called M2, Amadou, shortening M2, and the company is out of Italy, and they have done this ballistic test with the panel system. Both ballistic and impact test.
Yeah. See, I mean, I understand how foam works because it's something that I love, and I always introduce it within my structures. But because it's a good absorber of energy. So when you strike it, it absorbs that energy and displaces it. So I understand that part. Here is the other question that I would ask. If I already have my building, right, and I have my roof surface, and I want to reduce the amount of heat, is it safe to say that I can apply a layer of foam on top of that existing roof, and then render it and leave it, and it will reduce the amount of heat?
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
Because I advocate for that a lot as a method of reducing heat, because that simple say 3-inch of foam on top of your roof will help you tremendously, right? And that.
Well, we're happy you mentioned that, because we talked about marketing, and one of the areas that we have to go into very seriously is the concept of retrofitting. You see, what is happening is that, and I'll be very quick, in the past we built for hurricane and we built for earthquakes. Nobody ever built for climate the way they have to build for climate in the United States and in Canada and in Europe, because they are cold. Yeah. We just took the warmth for granted until we have found ourselves in a place now where the heat is as vicious as the cold. Therefore, there is no more room for building for earthquake and hurricane only. You must build for insulation. So one of the things we will have to target our existing buildings to say, how do we retrofit these buildings? And we have the eave system, which is the cladding of the walls, as well as being able to add it to depending on the type of roof you have. You may have to go on the inside, or if it is concrete, you go on the outside. But there is the whole business of the retrofitting of buildings, which we think by itself is one amazing thing too.
Yes, and not only that, it actually helps you to save money. You may invest now, and it may seem like a lot, but when you look at the electrical bill, your AC, the fact that you have to open the fridge every minute and go take water to drink, the fact that during the night now you're using your fan, the AC on, the TV on, all of these things do create heat, and all of these factors do help you to save money. So I like the idea of the foam, and not only that, I know that it is used in some places that you may not even know that it is being used. So for example, Highway 2000, I know that you guys were involved in that, because there is foam underneath the road itself, because in some areas the load bearing capacity of the soil was not as much as it should be, so they utilize foam to strengthen that area and then put down the road.
Exactly,
So
exactly. Because it's a good void filler. It's an extraordinary product. We call it in our tagline, or not tagline, but in our description of who we are, we say that this is a uniquely suitable choice. And we use that phrase intentionally to say that this is one of probably the few products that can do so many different things. It's unique in its ability to satisfy a sundry needs. Because here's this thing, be barring heat on your building, but the same material is also used as a void filler and for the subsurface soils that are soft. You replace the marl, so the foam does not compress. It has great compressive strength, so it makes this for this great void filler for the roads. So and plus we do moldings and a whole host of things. So it is really a uniquely suitable product that we think it's amazing.
So we have about 60 seconds left. I'm gonna let you guys have the last word. Contact information. How can they contact you?
Okay, I can be contacted at 876-413-0610, or my email address is keithedwardse@gmail.com, or you can go on our website www.freeformfactory.com.